rescue operation is obviously called for, but the space shuttles are grounded right now, pending an uncompleted safety review and retrofit.
And the Russians can't get a launch together in time.
How long have they got?
Assuming the present rate of oxygen loss, in 3 weeks, they'll be dead.
Can a shuttle be pressed into service notwithstanding the review?
One's missing half its wing assembly, and the other one's undergoing a complete tile replacement. Now, we can try and speed up repairs.
The concern would then be losing the shuttle crew and the space station crew.
Now, that's the civilian shuttle.
Sorry?
Can we speak with the president?
How long have they got up there?
They run out of oxygen in less than 3 weeks, if the leak doesn't get worse. Sir, the NASA administrator alluded to a non-civilian shuttle.
Werner von Braun's autobiography was titled, I Aim for the Stars. Mort Saul joked he should have had it, only sometimes I hit London. I want hourly updates on everything that's being done to fix this. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Drive safely. Good night.
Good night.
Evening, Charlie.
Mr. President,
Listening to relentless attacks upon my record seems to have left me wakeful. Thought I'd stretch my legs, so it's really the Republicans' fault that we're caught in this terribly embarrassing situation. I think perhaps the best thing is for us to carry on as if this encounter hadn't happened.
Due respect, I'm having a hard time exactly imagining that.
It's 1 in the morning. We both have to be at work in a few hours. And you're standing outside my daughter's bedroom. I say we give it a shot. Night, Charlie.
Good night, Mr. President.
Good morning.
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 What's the status of the space station leak?
Unchanged.
Current thinking on options?
Sections of the space station can be sealed off. There are small compartments the crew can repair to conserve air.
Which just delays the inevitable.
Which buys time to fix the problem
Ground-based engineers are working around the clock on this.
around the world.
Which is great and inspirational, and hopefully they'll make one heck of a movie someday. But should these efforts fail, I don't particularly relish the idea of dead astronauts floating weightless in some spaceship sarcophagus. Rescue options?
That's NASA's area.
DoD space program expenditures for the last fiscal year came to $22.9 billion, or $7 billion more than NASA's civilian program. What are we spending that on?
That's what the Chinese would like to know.
Well, since they're not here, maybe you could just tell me.
Missile warning, command and control.
Solar flare watch.
20 billion to tell us every time the sun burps?
They can disrupt satellite communications.
Yes, and Grand Ole Opry broadcasts. Are we weaponizing space?
Air Force Special Command operates and supports the global positioning system and military communication satellites.
We look at ways space systems can support warfighters in navigation, intelligence.
Is that weaponizing space?
Space-based lasers, highly targeted, no nuclear fallout. Space-based kinetic energy weapons, hunter-killer satellites.
R&D guys talk about a lot of things.
A military space shuttle.
Reusable launch vehicle.
Space bomber.
That has the theoretical capability of launching and dropping a weapon anywhere in the world.
With virtually no ability to detect it in advance.
Out of reach of conventional air defense systems.
Theoretical capability.
No one wants space to become a battleground.
Is that the argument in favor of building it? Is that the argument in favor of not building it? Or is that the argument in favor of building it and not telling anyone?
The answer to that would be yes.
Yeah. Okay. You have to quit and then get rehired. Leo wants you in California.
Greg Brock just released a story about a classified military space shuttle that could be, but hasn't yet been sent up to rescue those astronauts. It's already on the website. It'll be on the front page of tomorrow's New York Times. To do this, Brock would have had to assure them that he had it cold, which means whoever leaked it, it's somebody big.
Has the campaign seen this yet?
No, Gallup slipped us an advance copy. They'll publish in about an hour.
Sir, we should have Moscow any minute now.
Thank you. This ought to be fun.
How much do you plan on telling them?
I'm telling them the military space shuttle, whose existence we flatly denied, will be hurtling up from Vandenberg in about an hour.
Comprehensive?
Hutchinson will want you downstairs for the final go, and we've set up calls for you with China, France, Germany, Japan, everyone with a satellite that'll pick it up.
How about the wives?
Of the astronauts? Not until we know we're actually going to get them back.
Senator Wellers started his own investigation of the leak.
We're running an investigation. The AG is running an investigation. What does he think Congress is going to find out that we won't?
He doesn't think the AG's objective.
The AG hates us. We hate him. It doesn't get more objective than that.
No.
God bless. What else?
Hafley's giving us a hard sell on this education plan. He's talking about moving on teacher incentives.
He's prepared to actually pay teachers more?
If they meet higher standards, they get a cash bump, pay for performance.
Santos' campaign's going to be livid. Education's a tent-pole issue for them, and performance pay was a big part of their plan.
Likely as not, Hafley's baiting us, hoping we take the issue away from Santos.
You think we should skip it?
No, I think we should call his bluff.
We steal a lot of thunder away from the campaign for an education plan that'll die before it hits the floor of the House.
Maybe, but I'm not prepared to walk away from it yet. Let's try and figure out if Hafley's serious.
Campaign's in town today. We'll give him a heads up. I'll be back in when you've got Moscow.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
What they won't tell you is that 5.4 million jobs were actually lost in the last 8 years. And beyond sheer optimism...
Buongiorno.
Oliver Babish.
We don't have to talk yet. My caffeine uptake's a little logy.
An honor just to be in the White House Counsel's company.
What's your day like?
Some people talk about these things with my assistant.
I'm about to monopolize a bunch of your morning with this NASA crap. She should cancel things.
I've had the NASA conversation with the FBI 3 times. I've got my spiel down to a brisk 10 minutes.
You get any more than that?
I was going to say White House counsel would like a moment, but I guess he took care of that.
Nice to see you.
He needs you back in there already.
Margaret will call you when I'm done.
Oh, wait. You heard it from Nancy McNally?
I heard it straight from Kelwick at NASA, and he wasn't going to blab any more than he had to because the whole thing made his department look terrible. Space station's losing oxygen. We got a $4 billion space shuttle fleet, and not one of them is ready to leave the ground because of a retrofit he ordered.
Embarrassing.
A little bit.
You ever notice his eyebrows?
Kelwick?
Very active.
Are they?
I'm vamping. I brought the wrong folder. Humor me, though. Who else knew before the story went public?
NASA Director of Ops, NASA ISS Project Manager.
Yeah. Who at the White House?
You rang?
CJ's with Babish.
Right now?
Did you talk to him?
Yesterday.
What did you tell him?
I didn't tell him anything. I said the FBI thinks they're seeing a trail.
A trail.
Yeah, if they have a theory, they have to follow
You
it
handed
up.
CJ Craig to the White House counsel?
I did nothing of the kind.
Do you have anything that resembles hard evidence?
I'm not handing them CJ Craig. I'll be in my office.
Thank you.
Want to order lunch?
I've got a meeting. The Santos campaign and the West Wing need to coordinate agendas.
I'll order lunch, and we'll eat when you get back.
You're a lonely man, aren't you?
You miss him?
Who?
Josh, Leo. You guys are spread a little thin. Half your staff bleeding to the campaign, you with the chief of staff job. Probably still a little press secretary business on your plate.
Not really.
Really?
Not at all.
Well, so why does Greg Brock of the New York Times appear on your call log an average of 5 times a week in the 6 months before he publishes leak story? He spent that much time with Leo McGarry?
I really have to go now.
I'm thinking turkey club for me. You want some kind of salad?
Scheduling in advance is thinking little flags.
Little flags.
American ones.
So we stopped using the skull and crossbones then?
They want to line the president's signing table with a great big row
The little
of...
flags.
Yes.
And the message is?
This is America.
Not to be unpatriotic, but they do realize this is a fisheries bill?
You'd like them to come up with
A sign, a slogan, something a little more specific than a great big row of...
little flags.
Thank you.
Little fish.
That there's a secret military shuttle, that's the only way to have repaired the space station's laboratory module. But with Brock refusing to answer grand jury questions on his source for the top...
NASA just announced that the astronauts fixed the space shuttle all by themselves.
Anybody buying it?
Not so much.
Well, we've got a congressional committee investigating a national security leak out of this building. Washington's devolving into another gavel-splitting, nose-thumbing standstill. Well, not to mention the fact that a fisheries bill could be the better part of my legacy as White House Chief of Staff.
What's this?
The President and White House counsel wanted to put out a statement. We worked out the language while I was in the car.
Respect for the paw?
Law? Respect for the law.
It looks like respect for the paw.
You try riding longhand at 50 miles an hour.
You think this is a good idea?
I think the President and White House counsel want it out.
You don't think Vinnick will stomp all over this, not to mention Santos?
I think the President and White House counsel want it out.
I came back when I saw the cable coverage of yesterday's West Coast swing. Our economic message is working, so I'm revamping the message plan.
You would have stayed in house.
Tell Field, no way am I spending that much on Delaware. Tell speech writing to try a version of this that actually wins votes. And tell Advance I'm canceling the foreign policy reporters meeting and adding a town hall on high-tech jobs when he gets to Tampa.
What are those boxes?
People think campaigns are about two competing answers to the same question. They're not. They're a fight over the question itself. Now, Vinnick is opening up a big lead on security issues. That's box number one.
Okay, so we need to do more military.
No, because if the race is about that, we lose. But we're way ahead on most domestic issues. This new economic message could be our ticket. We keep the conversation in box number two, we win this thing.
What's in box number 3?
Trivia, ephemera, stuff we can't control. From today on, every speech, every public event, box number 2.
Did you do this stuff on Bartlet's campaigns?
Toby Ziegler. A few more nights like this, we could go hairline for hairline.
CNN says the White House is about to make a big announcement about the national security leak.
That can't be. They're trying to damp that story down.
Tell it to CNN.
The termination of the White House.
Operator, give me Toby Ziegler now.
Yeah.
Whatever you're announcing, tell me you're going to damp down this leak story and not...
We're stopping our internal investigation to cooperate with Congress and the grand jury.
Democrats don't care if they're felons in the sit room. Santos is going to get tarred with that.
Statement saying the White House will halt its own efforts to find the leaker.
Bad news for Matt Santos, who just got the spotlight.
So, national security leak, is that in box number 3?
The economy, then serious lapses in national security. Santos has been trailing his opponent, Republican Senator Arnold Vinnick, and having made the essential repairs to the space station's laboratory module, NASA now expects the astronauts to return home within the next 4 to 5 days.
It's Josh, again. I told him to call Toby. He insisted on talking to you.
Find Toby, will you? Joshua, for the love of my sanity, please talk to Toby. As my liaison to the campaign, I cannot
How could you
spend
let the president do this when I finally find a message that works?
It was a legal decision.
And you work in the most politicized square footage in the country. You turn this over to the Republicans who are going to kill me with 1,000 paper cuts, leak every incriminating detail when it pleases them, and I never get back to my issues, the things I win on.
The president wants a fair investigation. He wants politics out of this.
Then call for a special prosecutor. You shutting down your investigation? Go all the way. Take it out of the political arena for good. And while you're at it, find me a campaign liaison who's not out to screw me with my pants on.
A run-amok special prosecutor rifling through every can of trash from the past 7 years.
Oh, I'm glad we have this chance to chat. The last one was so gratifying. I am begging you, get the politics out of this.
You're the one putting politics in it.
Deal away my education plan. You don't give me a heads up on the political tsunami of the week. Right now, I am the only thing between Matt Santos and the megaphone through which he is going to trash his own party's White House. Skip the Kentucky leg. We'll hit it through Cincinnati media. Move this photo above the fold, and every time we talk about gun control, we have to say we respect the rights of hunters and sportsmen. Hunters and sportsmen, right up front.
The New York Post wants to know if we canceled the foreign policy lunch to keep Santos away from the leak story.
Tell them no, not everything's a conspiracy.
Oh, but you changed the town hall to a reverse town hall because...
Certain things are conspiracies. I need sexier economic policy for the reverse town hall.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Senator Dresden, you may proceed.
Ms. Hooper, good morning. Thank you for joining us. You were White House Chief of Staff Claudia Jean Craig's executive assistant, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You were responsible for connecting all calls from both outside and inside the White House to the Chief of Staff through your office line?
Yes, sir.
I assume that you are familiar with the White House archiving system known as ARMS.
I am.
This committee has subpoenaed copies of the electronic material that passed through the office of the Chief of Staff between December 30th and July 14th of this year. In total, the search included 19 segments of the ARMS database. Separate subpoenas were served to include the use of emails from both interoffice hard drives to the individual servers of BlackBerry and various other devices of an electronic nature. Did you need a glass of water?
I'm fine.
Can we get her a glass of water, please?
Yes, sir.
You're aware of an article in the New York Times on July 14th of this year claiming the existence of a top-secret military space shuttle?
Yes, sir, I am.
And you're aware that the reporter responsible for the article's content is Greg Brock, who has been jailed for refusing to reveal the source of this information?
Yes.
Am I correct in noting that Mr. Brock appears on Ms. Craig's interoffice phone log between 2 and 14 times a week in the 6 months before June 30th? Does that sound accurate?
Yes, sir.
On June 27th, you received a call on your main office line from Mr. Brock's cell phone at 7:27 a.m. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What can you tell us about the nature of that call?
I wasn't in the room with Ms. Craig at the time of call, so I can't say what she and Mr. Brock spoke about.
You can't say?
I mean, I don't know.
Well, Mr. Brock called again at 1:29 and then again at 2:20 that same afternoon. On the first call, you then patched it through to Ms. Craig on her BlackBerry. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Am I correct in noting that the calls that come through your phone can be monitored by the person manning your phone after they've been connected to their designated line? I would remind you that you're under oath.
Yes, sir.
So you are capable of monitoring Ms. Craig's phone calls, private and otherwise.
Yes, sir.
So let me start by asking you, did you ever monitor any phone conversations between Ms. Craig and Mr. Brock?
President's waiting in the Oval now.
Vinnick.
Right. I got a call from the Vinnick campaign about a CIA analyst going bonkers in his daily briefing. Wouldn't shut up about Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan.
Or was it Kazakhstan, one of the stands?
Did you remember the agent's name?
No.
Get into it.
Thanks. You okay?
They're calling me.
How you doing?
I'm on my last drop of adrenaline. How about you?
That guy called again.
Margaret often gives me a name.
Margaret's not back yet?
Mr. Frost. Charles Frost?
I don't know him.
Have you heard about Santos and how smart God is?
Sounds like Education Week's evolving into Religion Week.
I'm briefing in 10 minutes. Has the president spoken to Zahavi?
Any minute, we're in the Oval.
Hey, I got subpoenaed.
Congratulations.
You?
Nope. Last one to get a subpoena is a rotten egg.
Last one to get a subpoena is the focus of the investigation. You have a lawyer?
No, I do not.
Get one.
I don't need a lawyer if I haven't done anything wrong.
The president's on with Zahavi.
Hey,
Margaret called.
she's still not back?
She said they had more questions for after lunch. You want some coffee?
I'm taking a nap.
Okay.
I just need half an hour.
You got it.
I'm serious. I'm starting to see weird colors, so no people, no calls.
Charles Frost called again.
Did he say what he wanted?
Said he needed to talk today.
Oh, try to find out who he is.
No visitors, no calls?
I just need half an hour.
Power nap.
Yes.
Sweet dreams.
Charlie, close the door.
Right.
You busy?
No,
You alone?
I'm reading.
Guess it's time for some reading classes.
What do you want?
Meeting with Hafley on this education bill.
Get Charlie to help you.
Hafley's going to push us on private providers, and he'll want the straight A provisions to nullify the school-based provisions of Title
Just
I.
legislative back and
And I
forth.
want you to reconsider getting a lawyer.
Toby
Greg Brock.
is in jail. Charlie?
Margaret's not back yet?
Can't you see that I'm losing my mind? And if I can't sleep, I need at least 10 minutes of quiet time to myself. Quiet time. My time. I'm going out to get coffee. I'm ready to freebase the stuff, but that's what it takes to make this life livable. Peace and quiet and an IV of caffeine. Can I get you anything?
I'm good.
Charlie?
Let me get it. You take a nap.
Really?
It's either that or we pad the walls of your office. What do you have?
I want a double shot light on the soy cinnamon chai mochaccino, no whip, sprinkles, and another shot on top. I'll write it down. I'd tell you about it if I could talk about it, but a bunch of stuff happened today that I can't talk about, so I guess I should stop talking about it. But the truth is I'm so strung out and wired on caffeine, I can't even tell what room I'm in.
CJ?
Let's open that bottle of champagne you gave me for my birthday. Maybe the alcohol will balance out the caffeine.
CJ, the leak.
Let's have a toast. One final toast before I leave the White House for my perp walk and leg irons. So here, you open it. I'll take out your eye with one. Fine, I'll open it. But just listen to what I have to say. Leo's in trouble.
I know.
You do?
I got a lawyer.
What?
I got a lawyer. I did it.
Call the White House counsel's office and someone over immediately.
I just didn't want you to think
We
that.
really can't have any further conversation without counsel present.
Excuse me. I was told to come right in.
Mike, is it?
Sorry. Mike Wayne, Associate Counsel. Mr. Ziegler?
Toby, would you tell Mike what you just told me?
I was the one who leaked the information about the classified military space shuttle to Greg Brock of the New York Times.
Where's Oliver Babish?
Out to dinner. I'll need the key to your office. Where are you going?
He's at my desk.
I'll have to ask you to accompany me directly to the Roosevelt room. You'll need to wait there quietly while I retrieve your key, lock your office, and post a uniformed Secret Service agent at the door. That needs to happen right now.
Ilana. Toby Ziegler. As my attorney, you should probably know that I just confessed to C.J. Craig that I was behind the leak. I'm about to be debriefed by White House counsel.
You left him in a room with the phone?
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Toby.
Oliver.
Who were you talking to?
My attorney's voicemail.
My instructions were that you sit quietly.
Pretty sure I used my indoor voice.
Who else have you called or spoken to since Mike's been gone?
No one. Ed and Larry.
Who?
They stuck their heads in and wanted to run something by me. I told them to go away.
Did you discuss the leak or the investigation in any way?
We didn't discuss anything. I was curt and dismissive, as instructed.
Yeah, I'm gonna need their full names and extensions.
They were here maybe 10 seconds.
Mike's gonna need to speak with them.
CJ wanted you to have this revised POTUS schedule.
You haven't heard back from her
About your request to postpone the briefing?
Right.
Unless you count her saying, don't ask if Will can postpone the briefing.
Doesn't count.
Never heard back.
Good morning. Morning. I'm Will Bailey, Assistant to the President and the new White House Director of Communications. I'll be conducting the daily briefings from now on, and I have a statement to make at this time. 1 week from today, the President will launch a bold and far-reaching New Markets Initiative, an interagency effort to bring jobs and private investment to distressed urban communities. We're handing out a list of initial agency efforts, small business loans, tax incentives, Commerce's new Adopt an Entrepreneur program, which of course we expect to be controversial. I'll take your questions.
Will, did any of the White House senior staff know that Toby Ziegler was leaking national security secrets?
There's an ongoing investigation. I'll refer you to the president's statement on the matter.
It doesn't speak to that question.
I'm not going to parse his statement.
We're not asking you to parse it.
Which is good, since I'm not going to.
Did any senior staff know Toby was lying from that very podium?
Toby Ziegler's been dismissed by the president. That should be an indication of what this White House thinks.
I'm asking what the White House knew. 2 weeks ago, Toby
I'll refer you to
said
counsel on that.
Counsel isn't answering questions.
I'll have to get into that.
They're crushing him like a grape.
He's doing fine.
no on banning partial birth abortions. Is that a vote you want?
Have you seen this abortion ad? It's all over cable news. They're predicting a negative ad blitz by Friday.
I'm amazed it took them this long to get started. Someone gave the president this Eskimo adage, the best place to store surplus food is in someone else's stomach. Use it in this afternoon's briefing. We're announcing 50 major private employers have joined the New Markets Initiative. Because which would you rather have when you're hungry, rotten food or a friend to help you hunt for?
I get it. It's just a second briefing. You saw the wires. They counted the number of questions I was asked this morning because I didn't answer one of them.
You thought we were going to get good coverage this week?
47, by the way, career high.
You have to let the press punch themselves out.
You're talking to the punching bag. My job's to look like I'm not completely ignorant. Counsel won't even brief me on the details of Toby's firing.
I asked them not to.
Don't you want me to have a shred of credibility in the briefing
Your
room?
ignorance is your credibility. It's why I put you in this job. And your constituents aren't in that room. They're in distressed urban areas. You brief at 4.
0 for 47. I'm the Jamaican bobsledding team.
Bailey again.
Mr. Bailey.
Good afternoon. We're handing out lists of private sector commitments to the president's New Markets Initiative. It shows the business community is deeply engaged in job creation for poor communities. As the Eskimos said, if you store your food in somebody else's stomach, well, then you'd better hope it doesn't need refrigeration.
Has the president been asked to testify in the criminal investigation?
That's a matter for counsel.
Will he assert privilege if you asked to testify?
I'll refer you to this morning's briefing.
When you said you get back to us on that.
See, now you're cheating. You didn't need to be referred.
Does the president consider Mr. Babish's conversations with Mr. Ziegler to be privileged?
I'm not getting into that.
Isn't Mr. Babish also a witness?
I'd have to check with him.
Will, you've been in this job 4 days. When are you going to sit down with counsel and get us some answers?
I'm not.
Mr. Bailey, right here, some answers. Will, right here.
Stuffed olives.
So, back into the breach.
Down the hall, turn left at the Crucible.
If you want to offer any tips?
Just follow your instincts.
My instincts say to curl up in a ball in the corner of my
And
office.
follow your job description.
Right, down the hall, turn left at the...
So I should tell Legislative
The
Affairs.
president's not signing the bill. I want it looks like happy hour at the Algonquin. See if they can get some of these earmarks out of it.
Today, I'm pleased to announce that as part of our upcoming New Markets tour, President Bartlet will visit the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, home of the Oglala Sioux Nation, to talk about the importance of investing in Native American communities. I'll dodge your questions now.
When was the last time a sitting president visited an Indian reservation?
That would be Franklin Delano Roosevelt, 1936. Next question.
Hey.
No costume?
Well, I thought about coming as Julius Rosenberg.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Molly.
I'm a baseball player.
I can see that. She's an Oriole.
Yeah.
What happened to all the Yankee stuff I bought?
She likes the little bird.
Hi, Huck. Come here. Whoa, look at you.
He likes what she likes. How'd we do?
Couple of Mars bars. Bit of honey.
That'll do.
So the witch thing works.
Yeah?
Uh-huh. I mean, not as well as the Catholic schoolgirl thing, but yeah. I had a meeting today.
Okay.
U.S. Attorney's Office is threatening another indictment tomorrow. Obstruction of justice, which may very well screw every Democrat in the country running for office, not to mention the Santos campaign.
What the hell's the matter with you? Just tell him it was your brother.
Okay.
Like, David's dead, and even if you were alive, he'd tell you.
What if it wasn't David?
Only you.
What?
A Republican hasn't won the Maryland 8th in 40 years. I'm running neck and neck. My campaign manager wants to make "that's why I divorced him" buttons. Just tell the U.S. attorney it was David, and this will all be over. It's what he would have wanted you to do.
Don't tell me what my brother would have wanted. He did nothing wrong, and I will not consider for 1 second defaming his reputation over something he had absolutely nothing to do with.
You did drag me down here for a reason.
You're a pretty ambitious guy, huh? What are you, 38, 39? Peter Blake, U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. What's next? Congress, the Senate? A seat on the federal bench? What happens when you sit down with the DNC chair in 2 years?
You gotta be kidding me.
A congressional race in Virginia you want to throw your hat in. I'm just wondering what Mr. Chairman's going to be thinking about.
You came here to lecture me.
Your Rhodes Scholarship? Your performance on law review?
I'm going to the grand jury in the
No,
morning.
you're not. You're not going to do this.
Toby.
It's wrong, and it's irresponsible.
Irresponsible? How about Chief of Staff of the United States sharing classified Defense Department information with an unauthorized
That's not what
individual?
happened.
I have a deposition from Oliver Babish that says exactly that.
She asked me a hypothetical question.
You discussed the existence of a secret military shuttle with C.J. Craig. You didn't have clearance, and she did. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what happened. Please tell me I didn't leave a crying 6-year-old in a Dorothy costume for this. The president's not doing what she wants him to do. She does what she's done 1,000 times before. She talks to you. Maybe she thinks you have clearance. Maybe she knows you don't. Maybe she has no idea that you're gonna leak it, but you do, and she's screwed, and it's your fault, so you fall on the grenade.
It wasn't CJ.
Okay, what about Leo?
Wasn't Leo.
Toby, there was someone else. You weren't authorized to have that information. All right. I assume we're done here.
A citizen's safety lies in the prosecutor who approaches his task with humility, Justice Robert Jackson. Your position is of such independence and importance that while being diligent, strict, and vigorous in law enforcement, you can also afford to be just.
It's my responsibility to find out who helped you. That's my job.
You can indict me. You can threaten to put me in federal prison for 6 years. You can subpoena the president, subpoena Leo McGarry, subpoena C.J. Craig. You can undermine a presidential election, and it won't change anything. I'm still not going to change my story.
And that's it?
Yeah, that's it. I've dedicated my life to this country, to public service. And regardless of our different interpretations of the role of the federal prosecutor in our legal system, I don't think derailing a presidential election is part of your job description. And I don't think you believe it is either.